Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Groomed. And this is a new Discovery Plus documentary that will be coming out soon. And this is from director Gwen Van de Pas. And this Van de Pas is a young woman who previously had experienced sexual abuse and was groomed when she was younger by an older man. And this film is about her coming home to her hometown and trying to do something about it. And trying to launch an investigation into this man and the abuse that she experienced at his hands. And throughout the film, not only does it follow her story about her personal experience, but she also interviews other survivors and also some perpetrators of these sexual abuses to get a sense of these different perspectives of these women and men who have experienced the sexual abuse, and also eerily looking into the mind of somebody who has done this grooming to young people and taken advantage. And Gwen Van de Pas does a fine job of building up an emotional connection in this film because you really feel her struggle. You see her being vulnerable. You see her being vulnerable with her husband and breaking down and reacting to different twists and turns in her own story, whether it's finding out that they threw out evidence or they dropped charges, and her on the phone with her husband just breaking down emotionally, and you feel that, and you feel her struggle, and you want to be there for her. And then you have these other stories where you have these people telling their stories and giving context to it and bringing it to life and having a voice. And that's a very meaningful thing, and I think this documentary does a fine job of creating that for these survivors. There are definitely some eerie moments, especially when you do hear from someone who has done these things and you hear them. You never see their face, but you hear them very specifically and very clearly lay out the methodology of this abuse. And Groomed really captures that. It's not exactly the most technically impressive documentaries. It's not exactly the most ambitious story structure-wise, but there's an emotional resonance here that really elevates this above just your run-of-the-mill documentary because you feel that connection that Gwen Van de Pas brings to her own story and helps bring out of the stories of all these other survivors that we get to hear from. And not only is this documentary important, but it's emotionally resonant and will work on both those levels in terms of you viewing this documentary. And this is starting to show that Discovery Plus has a lot of new documentary content. And I think this is going to be one that's probably going to grab a lot of attention because of its sensitive and meaningful and a little bit ambitious source material and what it's focusing on, that subject matter. And I definitely think Groomed is worth checking out. But those are my thoughts on Groomed. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.